All right, this is the fourth episode in the Road to Eight Figure series where I'm backtesting every single day until I find a profitable system that makes me millions and millions of dollars. So today I'm just going to be backtesting again, putting together all the pieces that I've been learning over the past couple of weeks. And I did some backtesting yesterday and things are really starting to click. But I'm mainly focusing on studying Power of Three and market maker models. And putting those two together has been really eye opening. So I'm working on that again today. And last week, I found myself very frustrated because I don't think I was backtesting the right way. I was backtesting, but I wasn't recording any data. I wasn't taking any notes. I wasn't writing down things that I've learned, things that I've discovered, or anything. I was just doing it. So there really was no process or system behind what I was doing. And because there was no process or system, I felt just completely lost. And I felt like what I was doing was absolutely useless. I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't getting better. And that was very frustrating. And I felt confused. So what I developed is this Notion page where now I have a little system. I got some metrics that I'm tracking, and going back and studying these databases is going to help me discover what my trading model is. So these are the metrics I'm tracking. So a lot of what I do is studying the weekly PO3 and daily PO3s. So for the weekly PO3, I want to record what day of the week that I'm backtesting. Is it a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? That's it. And then of course I want to record what time does the setup occur? What time does the real expansion move in the New York morning session occur? Because that's the time that I need to focus on. You go in and find my entry model. And then the bias is just, was it a bullish or bearish day? And then news is simply, was there a red folder? Was there a medium impact news? Or was there no news at all? That's also very important because news is going to bring manipulation or distribution. And if there's no news, then we can probably expect bad price action, sloppy price action, and accumulation of the weekly power of three. So the news profile is very important. So that's definitely something that I want to track. And then here's the daily profile that it was. Was it a London reversal? Was it a New York reversal? Was it New York manipulation? Or did we see an expansion move in one direction in the London session, which tells me that all of these daily profiles are invalidated. I don't even want to trade. And then here's the type of setup that I could have captured. I could have captured an expansion move or a scalp. So on days where I've scalp recorded, those are days where there was not good price action at all whatsoever. And those are days where we probably see London expansion. Like on this day, I think it was one-sided overnight. See, when London does this, when it expands in one direction, look at the New York morning session action. So when I see this overnight in the London session, I don't even want to trade the New York morning session at all because it looks like this. Look how wiki this is. That's not clean price action. Meanwhile, we have a day like New York manipulation on a Thursday. We go look at that price action. It's pretty clean. Pretty clean. We have Asia accumulation, London accumulation. Doesn't really show any willingness to move higher or lower. So what am I going to look for? I'm going to look for New York to run out this London low and then start the real expansion move of the day, which was this leg right here. So keeping track of my daily profiles, high impact news. Could I have caught an expansion move? And this is what I'm really trying to do. I want to catch the expansion move, the bulk of the daily volume of that daily candle in the New York morning session. So that's what I'm studying. That's what I'm trying to do. And then I'm also studying the weekly profile. Like I said, I'm studying the weekly power of three. Was it a bullish expansion? Was it a bearish expansion? When was the high of the week formed? When was the low of the week formed? What kind of weekly profile was it? And these are the only two that I have right now. Probably have to go study that more. And was there a TGIF setup? Meaning, did the market reach its weekly objective on Thursday, and then Friday we saw a retracement back into the range? And then here I just have a bunch of notes. So I'll need to go back and analyze these notes and put these together. So that's what I've been doing. And before I was doing this, everything was frustrated because you could say there was no intention behind anything that I wasn't doing. I wasn't learning anything. I was putting in all these hours of backtesting, but I wasn't learning anything because I wasn't writing down things I learned, writing down things I discovered. I wasn't tracking things. I wasn't annotating my charts. I was just going through it. And the biggest thing about it too is I was backtesting with absolutely no bias. What the fuck is that? How are you gonna backtest with no bias? How are you gonna go into a day without knowing where that daily candle is likely to go next? So you just can't do that. I was backtesting without a bias for the longest time. Very frustrating. So now what I did to combat that, to change that, I literally start, for each one of these days, I start on the weekly chart, to the daily, to the 4 hour, to the 1 hour, to the 15, to the 5, to an entry. Every single day. And it's taken me a long time to do just 2 weeks of backtesting. But in this 2 weeks of backtesting, I've learned more than everything that I was doing before. So there's a lesson in just slowing things down and following a process, finding a process, and just taking your time, going through the motion, and actually learning, actually getting out of what you're putting into your backtesting session. So that was a big lesson that I learned. But anyways, I'm just going to backtest this week, and that'll be today's video. So starting the day with the backtesting session. What time is it? 6 a.m. and I already got a workout in. So, and now I'm starting the day with the backtesting session. Life is good. Okay, looking at this week, what could I potentially see? Well, I can already see that this market maker buy model is complete right here. We reached our ERL, our external point of interest, ran out this key swing high. And so to start a market maker sell model, I would look for an SMT divergence, right? But I don't think I really have one here. Unless this is an SMT divergence. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Because we have this high here. They both assets run this high. But we have this high back here that ES is running, but NQ is not. We're also trading into this weekly imbalance. And price is respecting this weekly imbalance. I don't think ES is respecting it though, but is it reaching consequent encroachment? And is it respecting consequent encroachment, meaning 50% of the imbalance? Shit. So it looks like we are. So the body of this weekly candle is still closing outside of consequent encroachment. So that tells me that this imbalance is still being respected. We ran this swing high. But the overall narrative of the market is bullish recently. So it's kind of both ways, I guess you could say. I mean, look at this price action, right? I should be bullish, but at the same time, we have an SMT relative to this high, and we're testing a weekly imbalance. And we reached our ERL on this market maker buy model. But this is also a larger time frame market maker buy model. Let's go to the monthly. This is probably our draw right here on the monthly chart. Now where's that on the week? On the weekly, it doesn't show. Fuck. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So on the monthly, it appears we're drawing to this swing high right here. But how is the market going to get there? Okay, we got a new week. We reached our draw on liquidity. We formed a swing high in this imbalance. Okay. News profile. What is it? Sixth. News profile. Powell speaking on Tuesday. No data on Monday. Red folder Wednesday. Medium impact Thursday. And red folder on Friday. Okay, so accumulation, manipulation, especially with this guy talking. Distribution, TGIF. That's what I'm thinking. But what the fuck is my bias? Clear SMT, right? SMT. Relative to this high, the 13th of September. We're now forming a swing high. We have a daily imbalance resting below. On both assets. I would consider this an order block right here. We have displacement. Down close candle with an imbalance. Delete this. Okay. I don't think I can be bearish. I mean, with this order flow on the daily chart, with this bullish order flow, I can't be bearish. So my bias is bullish, and I'm expecting a draw to this high, but I want to see this imbalance rebalance. I can't just try to call a top in this rally. I can't do that. I'm not a top picker. So I want to trade with the higher time frame order flow. If it's clearly bullish, then I'm bullish. So my DOL is probably the high of this imbalance, and then past that, this swing high. That's my weekly objective. But before that, we probably will see a retracement because ES is failing to displace this. We have an SMT, so Monday, Tuesday, trade below the weekly open, right? I'll put this over here so I can record my shit. Monday, Tuesday, trade below the weekly open. And then trade higher. So that's what I'm looking for. Oh, shit, not that. Okay. 4 hour. Yeah, this shit's messy. We have this large imbalance, which is the daily imbalance that has yet to be rebalanced. And this was on FOMC. This could be the start of a market maker sell model, and this would be our ERL down here, right? Maybe this low right here. Okay, we're not seeing a one-sided move in London, are we? We have this reversal, though. I'm expecting a drop below the weekly open, right? So that's good. We're seeing that. We have an SMT at the lows. Clear higher time frame SMT. There's an imbalance, hourly imbalance. Hello? Let's see if price respects this bearish order flow. So problem with me recently is I gotta know what that higher time frame is doing. Get lost in the time frames. Okay. There's no news today, so what the fuck? Where the fuck my news go? Okay, there we go. Here's an hourly imbalance. Within that daily imbalance, I'll probably mark this. And that would be a higher time frame SMT. Because ES is tapping into this imbalance, but NQ is not, so that's also an SMT. So if this can be displaced or disrespected, and do we have a shift in market structure? There's an imbalance here. 15-minute. Same thing on ES. Now it's getting a bit messy. Still gotta figure that out. I'm gonna be expecting a directional move today. There's an SMT at the lows. So it looks like we may have ran out this London low, put in a low day, SMT. If this imbalance were to hold, probably expect to trade higher to these Asia high. Oh shit. So what is going on? Are we still respecting that hourly imbalance? No, we are not. Disrespected. SMT. So now I want to see this act as an IFVG. Target the Asia highs. Let's go to a 5. Sideways action, because why? We don't got a news driver. There's also an SMT down here. So there you go. There's your accumulation day. Accumulation of the weekly candle. Because there is no news driver. So I'm not expecting anything out of price action. And look what it does. It's just absolutely sloppy. So accumulation of the daily range. So let's go to weekly time frame and begin looking what is going on. So here's that weekly candle. Monday does what? Nothing. I'm gonna record this. Daily. How did the daily play out? We can see that the imbalance is being respected on NQ. We don't even get a close inside of this, but ES gaps down into it, trades lower into it, and this is where we have that SMT form. Accumulation of the weekly candle below the weekly open as well. So fuck. Here's that weekly open and it's just not doing anything. So here's where that higher time frame SMT. NQ is not trading into that hourly imbalance. ES is. So I mean, it kind of looks like we could be the start of a buy side of the curve because look at all these lows that we're leaving intact. And we're forming this consolidation range. But what I would like to see, ideally, is a manipulation of this Monday low and then trade higher. Not really getting that right now. We can see that the price action just fucking sucked. It's Monday, no news data, not a day I would be trading. Like, there's no point in trying to make something out of this. Look at this price action. It's completely sideways. But the best setup would have been just waiting for this overnight low, or London low. It's kind of outside of the session, but to get ran out on both assets. So now our SMT would be at this low right here. There's also an SMT right here too, because we can see that NQ is running out the Asia high. ES is not. So I wouldn't want to trade the daily range, obviously, because there's no news driver. I'm not expecting an expansion move. It's Monday. but there is scalping opportunity. There is scalping opportunity. I didn't record that. Fuck. Accumulation. Nothing going on. And then on the 15-minute chart, again, it's just sideways. Ain't shit going on. S&P at the Asia high. But this would probably be the best move of the day right here. From this low to this high. In this range. 152 handles on NQ. And 32 handles on ES. Simply just wait for this low to get ran out. Wait for that 930 manipulation move, right? So one thing I've learned is to never chase the 930 opening, because the 930 opening usually will bring displacement, but I don't want to chase that. Just be patient and wait for a real setup. There's also an SMT here, an SMT here. NQ runs out the London high, ES does not. And that leads to this move right here. So London kind of trades lower, but we don't see continuation in that direction. You know, if I saw displacement over this London high, if I saw this kind of price action right here, like this price leg over this London high with an imbalance, then I would look to long a pullback. I could use OTE and wait for a discount and then get long. But we never displace this London high. We fail to close over it, and we also form an SMT. So I would not want to be long off that. This is a decent little move right here. $15-minute. 5. This is a clear SMT right here, relative to this 930 high. We see NQ run out that London high, and this is a decent move too. We form a high, form a low, run that high, trade lower. So there's probably some form of breaker block in this structure. Let's see what that 930 opening does. On a day where there's no new driver, I'm 100% waiting for that 930 opening to see what price wants to do. And right here, there is no good price action. It's just sideways. So honestly, we could view this as what? An accumulation phase. We have a little tiny PO3. I guess maybe like a 15-minute PO3. Where we have, or a 1 hour. I think on days like this, it's really good to trade 10 a.m. PO3. A high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. Breaker block. But obviously there's no expansion in any direction today. So we have this accumulation range. We initially trade higher out of it, run the London high. we displace out and displace back in. So with SMT. So this in itself is what? A market maker sell model on a 5-minute time frame. And this is a market maker buy model. Here's our ERL, right? Here's the sell side of the curve. Low resistance liquidity run. Look at all these lows that we leave intact. So it's all about waiting for price to reach its ERL. So it's easy to sit in hindsight and read this shit, but I have to do it when the data is actually playing out, which I'll probably do in the following session. But I have to do this over and over and over again in hindsight so that I can sit there and read live data as it's coming out. It's a process. Okay, now I'll look for an entry. There's probably going to be nothing on a 3-minute. Go to a 1 minute. Honestly, this move right here would probably be a good move, right? Because we're running the London high. Running that London high, there's an SMT. Looks like we complete this buy side of the curve on a 1 minute. There's a clear SMT. So we have a higher time frame SMT and a directional SMT as well. Very high probability. That's exactly what I want to see. So this really is my setup. This is not my setup. This is my setup. And this is a good scalp. And it happens at 10 a.m. So I'm going to write that. None. Profile. Probably a New York reversal. Okay. So this is the data that I'm recording for the day. Expansion bearish day, Monday. News, no. Time, 10. Scalp. There we go. So we got our higher time from SMT because NQ is running the London high, but ES is not. And then we have our directional or our momentum SMT, and that starts the expansion move. So really, if I have a higher time frame SMT and a lower time frame SMT, then I can trade this at FEG right here. But look, we have a high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. So once price runs an important level of liquidity, I want to see this. I want to see it first form a high, form a low, swing, swing, then run that high formed, and then break down, break lower. Or I could get a breaker block entry. A high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. Here's my breaker block right here. Focused on this. I want price to reject this, and does it? Yes. And there's an FEG. So here's my entry. Very tight risk. And I can target that London low. So that's a really good trade. That's 68 handles. 24 points of risk as well. I don't see that forming on ES because ES never ran this high. But what I do have is a 2022 model entry, right? There's a small imbalance right here. We have market structure shift. We have a run on liquidity. Wait, do we have a run on liquidity? We run this high. So probably on accumulation days like this, I'm probably just sitting on a 1 minute time frame and looking for an entry. Never really ran out any significant pool liquidity, but there is a 2022 entry model right here. Market structure shift. Okay, yeah. Targeting London lows, 3R. So I'm gonna write this down. This is something I need to put in my notes because what do I need? Higher time frame, SMT, lower time frame, SMT. Run on important level of liquidity. Breaker block plus FVG, and that is it. That is it. And if I don't see that, I don't have a trade. So this is a breaker block, and a breaker block forms when we run an important level of liquidity. We form a high, form a low, run that high, and run that low. It goes hand in hand with the 2022 model. And when you have an FVG with it, that is very high probability. So it appears, where's the high of this candle? Probably would have got ticked in right there. And this imbalance right here, this bullish imbalance, is disrespected. So this is what I got: a higher time frame SMT, a lower time frame SMT, a run on important level liquidity, a breaker block, an FEG, and I want to see a disrespect in opposing PD array. So this imbalance is disrespected, right? We just close through it. And then here's my breaker block. And that's a scalp. And there you go. And here we don't form my entry model, so I'm not interested in it. Okay, now Tuesday. I want to see a run on the previous day low. Ideally. Run on the previous day low. And then trade higher. Previous day low, then trade higher. Below the weekly open. This red dashed line is a weekly open. There's a PAL event at 12, so would I even trade this day? Probably not. But what are we seeing right now? Or I have to at least wait until that motherfucker starts speaking. But what are we seeing right now? It looks like we are going to have a New York manipulation daily profile because there's no willingness to go either direction. So what am I looking for? I want to see SMT. Doesn't really matter. I'm bullish. If I'm bullish, bullish. $15-minute imbalance. Powell event at 12:40. Okay. Clear accumulation before the Powell event. Okay. On the Powell event, I want to see manipulation of yesterday's low. There's an SMT right now. Not trading to that motherfucker talks, right? That would be stupid. Don't fucking do that. What time does he talk? 12:40. Okay. Talks at lunch. And there's SMTs all over the place. So I've noticed that before big news events, there's significant Kraken correlation. Okay. Well, looks like the news was distribution, maybe? I don't fucking know. This 1 hour RCB is respected. This 1 hour RCB is respected. $15-minute time frame. So if this is real distribution, I'd have to look for OTE. Okay. Oh shit. You never fucking know with these kind of events. What do I want to see? I want to see manipulation of Monday's low. I want to see some form of SMT. Is this sell model complete? Maybe. So if this model is complete and we have an SMT relative to the previous day low, now I want to see a shift in market structure on a lower time frame. Or I want to see my model, my entry signature. So let's go to a 3-minute. So we form a low, we run an important level of liquidity, we form a low. Now I see I want to see a run on this low and then begin to trade higher. Okay, we don't get that. Cool. We do have a shift in market structure though. Something like this, maybe? Targeting that high? Let's see. Fuck it. Price probably just gonna leave. Goodbye. Goodbye. Does it deliver to that high though? Yes, it does. Okay, there we go. So we were correct. The draw on liquidity is correct. What is this blue line? Is there a daily imbalance? What the fuck? Go back up to the daily. Look what this motherfucker did. So, classic weekly profile, right? I said it couldn't be bearish this week because obviously the order flow is bullish. And so why would I trade against that? Why would I try to call a top? So that was good. Go back up to the 1 week. Fuck. And there we go. So Monday, Tuesday, build the low of the daily candle or weekly candle. And now we're going to draw towards our weekly objective. Price wants to get this high. Price wants to run this high. Let me record this. Tuesday. Bullish. News red. Profile. New York manipulation. Trade. Expansion move. There we go. So price is clearly now expanding higher. We can view this as our order block. This imbalance is being supported. It's propelling price higher. I don't know what that is. And we're going to run out these highs right here. This is the previous week high. So I think obviously we are drawing to the previous week high. Four hour. What do we see? Number one, we have, what the fuck? Oh. Number one, we get our higher time from SMT. Now we have another SMT. Rebalancing the daily imbalance. Now price is distributing higher. We're going to target this high right here. So we can clearly see that ES ran out the previous day low. NQ did not. We have this little sell model right here. So one asset's going to reach that ERL. The other is not. That's going to create an SMT, and that's going to propel price higher. That's exactly what I look for. And we have this entire accumulation range, even on Monday. See, Monday was an accumulation in terms of the weekly PO3. Then we want to see that Monday low manipulated. We want to see an SMT. And then distribution higher. Fuck. Record that. So this was an entire accumulation range. SMT at the lows. The bias is bullish, okay? So we're not looking to short the damn thing. We're looking to long it. And that is how you catch the real move. It all starts with the bias. Where's price drawing to? And we can see the real move comes in the afternoon in our afternoon kill zone, 1330 and beyond. So I'll mark that, 1330. Once we run out the New York morning session low and the London low, notice how these lows are left intact, right? That is engineering liquidity. And look at the morning session, it's just complete shit. Because the algorithm is waiting for this Powell event to manipulate price. We can even target this high right here. Oh, that's what I said earlier. But yeah, there you go. SMT relative to previous day low. I think once this 15-minute candle closes above this low and I have that SMT below these equal lows, then I can get long. Maybe. Mark it in that shit. Fuck it. That's fucking powerful. That's fucking powerful. Oh, I didn't record it. God. This is probably a lower time frame SMT right here. And what does that do? It starts the expansion move, right? So you can see that the morning session was shit. Waits for the event. Runs out that morning low. ES runs previous day low. NQ does not. SMT trade higher. Now we can try to find an entry on the 1 minute. So there is no breaker block. There is a shift in market structure though. On the 1 minute time frame. So if I were to play this, there's a lot of volatility. I'd probably have a wider stop below this low. This is invalidated or this is violated. We're having bearish PD arrays violated. We have a shift in market structure down here after running an important level of liquidity after a higher time frame SMT. Would this be an SMT? Hold on. Bitch. Okay. There's also a shift in market structure here on the 1 minute time frame. So if I didn't get my entry here, there's another chance here. Let's see if the bodies of the candle respect that. They do. On ES as well. I mean, at this point, you're in near the fucking lows. Stop loss under this low. Targeting that high. Maybe under this low. Targeting that high. And you got a 5R. So, really solid trade. Just waiting for what I want to see play out in terms of bias. There's a lot of entries down here. But there is no breaker block. Unless you want to consider this. I don't really think it would be one though. A low, a high, a lower low, and a higher high. Here's your breaker block. Low, high, lower low, and a higher high. Breaker block FEG. Never trades back to it. I don't think that would be it. Check this on 3 minute. No. Okay. Mark that. Alright, I'm gonna do one more day because this video is gonna be so fucking long. Maybe I'll do Thursday too. So now the distribution has finally begun with that news event. So approaching Thursday, what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to trade lower into a higher time frame PDA rate and then begin to distribute higher. That's it. That is simply it. So we have a 4-hour imbalance. Let's go to the London session and the New York session. So no, we do not have a higher time frame PDA rate. Could be approaching the sell side of the curve. Well, we don't have a 4-hour PDA rate. We probably have an hourly PDA rate. This, I think, is my draw today. Actually, no. Look how close we are within the previous week high. I think we could definitely reach it by Thursday. I would say it's Wednesday. We have this level of buy-side liquidity right here. Both of these assets. What the fuck is this red line? I don't know what this is. Get out of here. So we have no PDRs. We gotta mark out these session lows and highs then. So we can see we're trading lower below that midnight open. We have accumulation. I'm not saying any one-sidedness whatsoever. We have an SMT relative to this London low. We've got 15-minute imbalances. The market could seek these. There's this large 15-minute imbalance down here. There's this tiny imbalance. And let's see, where is 50% of the range? I'm gonna leave this right here. Not that. Okay. See what price does on the 8:30 news event. Trading sideways, accumulation, potentially. So 9:30 opening, I want to see a run on this and then trade higher, displace higher. There we have our SMT because just mark it from here. ES reaches that imbalance and Q does not. And this price action is sloppy as shit. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. Breaker block, maybe. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. The entry kind of looks better on ES. I'm gonna throw one down here, targeting this high. Stop underneath the low. Look at that breaker block hold. Wow. But it is insignificant. So there you go. So the bias is bullish. Price ain't do shit. And we have a down close candle. Okay. No big deal. And now we're back at the weekly open. So what was the problem with that trade? There was no SMT, no SMT, no trade. Meanwhile here we have a clear SMT. And I bet you we also run out all these equal highs. All of them. So if we go to a 1 minute, we don't get any entry at all. Nice. Just a shitty day. A very shitty day. Back up to the weekly. Now price is doing nothing. Indecisive candle. Now it appears the bias can begin to flip. So this is the hard part. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, down close. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, down close. So, I was right. We did transition to the sell side of the curve. To rebalance a higher time frame PD array. Cool. It just slumped over. Ain't really do much. But what is the one obvious thing that we see? There's an SMT. Pretty shitty price action. So we have accumulation, drop. That's it. And we can see this bearish order flow kind of taking place overnight. We have this range, runs that high, the Asia high, displaces lower, displaces back into the range, leaves this imbalance, respects that imbalance, large imbalance, respects this imbalance. So the order flow is generally bearish. And we got this larger imbalance resting below that it's going to want to seek to rebalance. And it's also in a discount. None of this price action's in a discount. So where did I get long off of? So I got long here. ran out the London low. We had this accumulation range. We initially dropped down lower, traded back into the range. Not even a bad trade idea. Really isn't. I could have had a really, really tiny scalp targeting this high. Man, that probably wouldn't even be worth it. Worth the risk. Wow, this is what NQ did. NQ just displaced lower. Respecting the order flow from the left of the chart. And it isn't until we poke through the high of this accumulation range do we see the real move of the day. So but even then, there is no opportunity to get short, so it's just a really shitty day. Alright. Well, that's going to be it for this session because this video is now over an hour long. Way too long. So I'm going to end it there. Did I learn much? Got more screen experience. And I'm kind of dialing in on exactly what it is that I need to see to take an entry. I'm looking for a run on an important level of liquidity. I want to see a lower high form first. Then I want to see a run on that lower high. And then a market structure shift disrespecting the opposing PD arrays, meaning if we were bullish, if we were looking for a bullish shift in market structure, I'd want to see a bearish FVG disrespected, something like that. And then a shift in market structure, an imbalance, and then entry on the imbalance, or I see a breaker block and get an entry on the breaker block. And that's basically it. So that's good. And I'm just going to keep studying the weekly PO3, the daily PO3, and market maker models, and that's it.